The United States imprisons more people than anyone else in the world, hands down. Not only is it the absolute number of people we imprison greater than any other nation, but we also lead in the percentage of our population that we lock up. These are shameful facts behind which lie many complex factors. And exploring those factors in a new book is James Kilgore. Kilgore knows a thing or two about prisons. He spent several years behind bars for his radical political activism in the 1970s via his membership in the Symbionese Liberation Army, or SLA. The SLA, as you may recall, was involved in the famed kidnapping of heiress Patty Hearst in 1974. Here is how a CBS News article described Kilgore's story. Quote, the Oregon native survived the 1974 shootout between the SLA and police in Los Angeles, in which 6 SLA members died. He disappeared in 1975. After more than 25 years on the run, U.S. federal marshals arrested Kilgore in South Africa, where he'd been living under an assumed name. He was extradited to the United States and later sentenced to 6 years in a prison. Well, James Kilgore is now an adjunct instructor of global studies and urban planning at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. His book is called Understanding Mass Incarceration, A People's Guide to the Key Civil Rights Struggle of Our Time. He now joins me live on the program. Welcome to Uprising.
Good morning, Sonali. Nice to be with you.
Thanks for joining us. Well, you have quite a story, but your book focuses on the nitty-gritty of incarceration. Did your personal experience on the inside influence your book and become a factor in its uniqueness? We have books about mass incarceration, but I'm not sure how many have been written by somebody who spent 6 years themselves behind bars.
Absolutely. My prison experience shaped this book. During that 6.5 years, I saw an endless stream of black, brown, and poor white bodies coming through those prison gates. And most of them were serving incredible sentences, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, life without parole, double life. I had one friend who was doing 555 years. And when I found out their stories, the crimes that they had been convicted of, I couldn't quite figure out how that connected to the level of punishment that they were receiving. So this prompted me when I was released from prison in 2009 to investigate this thing which I later found was called mass incarceration. And I became an activist in my own community around these issues, opposing a jail project in my county of Champaign County, Illinois. But also I began to research and write because I'd been a researcher and an educator, a popular educator, before I was incarcerated. And I thought that there was a need for a book that described mass incarceration broadly, from Obama to Clinton to Reagan, from the war on immigrants to the war on drugs, but did it in an accessible way using the voices of people who were directly impacted. So that's how I set out to undertake this project of writing a book about which I've called the key civil rights struggle of our era.